it's Mike Douglas, People Now. Now, here's Mike.
Thank you very much, Dennis. After creating a character as memorable as Rhoda Morgenstern,
it's a mouthful.
Some critics thought that my next guest would forever live in her shadow. But her cynics obviously underestimated the talents of this woman as she went on to star in films for the big screen as well as television, and she returns to TV in a made-for-TV movie entitled Pharaoh for the People. Valerie Harper. Perfect casting because you are for the people. You're a people person, Valerie.
This is true.
You really are.
Yeah, it takes one to know one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's true.
Tell me about Pharaoh for the People. Sounds like she might be a lawyer.
She is. It's the character is a prosecutor on the DA staff in Manhattan. That's the county of New York. And it's actually the last series that was a real success about the prosecution, about those attorneys that work for the state or for the federal government prosecuting criminals and putting people in jail. The last successful one was Mr. DA. Do you remember that? In black and white, Mr. District Attorney. It was on the radio, and then it went to TV, and it was a big hit. But since that time, there's been The Defenders, Perry Mason, the famous one, and Owen Marshall, Judd for the Defense. Most lawyer or legal shows are about the defense attorneys and their struggle to get an innocent person off. And Tony and I, Tony Cacciati, who's the executive producer, along with Fred Silverman.
That's your man.
Yeah, and Fred Silverman is his
Fred Silverman is your partner in
We're
this?
partnering in companies.
The Fred Silverman.
The Fred Silverman. He's playing the other side of the street now.
Yeah, he'll succeed.
Well, he is the one who thought that it might be a real interesting time in the country, and in terms of it's a rich area that no one has really done a show about the prosecuting attorney. And I found so much out in my research that the prosecutor deals with the victim's family, the remains of violent crime, the crippled person, the shaken stability, the loss of money or funds or whatever. They deal with that, and there's incredible investigative work.
Would you like to be one of those people in another life sometime?
I don't know. I'll tell you, it's
fascinating,
isn't it? It's a fascinating area. And there is the use of the dramatic and speaking and the courtroom people. The lady I play is one of 290 real DAs that exist that fight the court battles, the district attorney himself.
You do good things on television, you know that?
Well, I hope so. I think it's a wonderful picture.
I loved your performance in the thing that Paul Newman and Joan Woodward were responsible for.
The Shadow Box.
You were so good in that.
Thank you, Michael.
That's not easy to play a role like that.
Yeah, she was
where someone near and dear to you has one of those illnesses, a terminal illness.
And I was playing older, which was very interesting, and it was, I guess it was one of the most challenging things I've ever had to do, was that part. But this character is real interesting because I didn't know, I learned so much about the legal community. Women have made enormous inroads. 1/3 of those 290 DAs in New York are women. So that means I'm not like a woman in a man's game. I'm one of 100 women that are now working, even as we speak, in New York and across the country.
And you have brought us a little film clip of this?
Oh, yes.
So
this
that we
is,
can give the folks a sample before it
Sure.
gets on the air?
Kenny Holliday is in it. Do you remember from Carter Country?
Sure.
Kenny plays my immediate superior, my bureau chief. And then, of course, we both report to the big, blue-eyed Irish devil like yourself. You could have played it as I'm looking at you. Eugene Roche is playing.
Nobody ever asks. They think this is all I do is sit in the chair and ask questions all day long. That's all people. Can he do anything else? I don't know. I saw him swing a golf club once. No.
He's a hell of a dresser.
Yes, his dress is neat, and his tie will not stay centered just because the stomach pushes
you
it
have
over.
riveting blue eyes, and so does Eugene Roche.
How was it like working for not-so-old Blue Eyes? Paul Newman.
Oh, gosh.
Isn't he a nice man?
He's fabulous. Great director.
Oh.
Fabulous. We loved it. We had a good time on that show.
Now, what network will be?
This is NBC, and I think the clip is just that Liz has received this case that she really wanted to get, one of the so-called in the biz glamour cases with a lot of media attention.
What's your first name? It's Farrell.
Elizabeth Farrell.
You watch Elizabeth Farrell, alias you-know-who, in action. Roller, Terry, please.
They sold out the olive branches.
you're in a hallway, and I forgot there were 2 hallway scenes. That young man did not play the black sheriff on Carter
That's not the
Country.
holiday person
That
we were
is
talking
Steve
about.
Inwood.
Yes.
And he's someone with whom there is a little romantic involvement. Also, he's a defense attorney. He's a public defender.
Great line.
Oh, you mean about
Yeah,
surviving?
about caring.
Yeah. Well, that's what she is involved in, and I think Liz Farrell, rather than defense attorney or prosecutor, she is behaving the lawyer as we'd all want our lawyers to be. Do you know what I mean? She's
Sure.
really doing what we'd like a lawyer to do, trying not to plug up the loopholes and trying for justice.
When I look at you, I think of that tremendous identity, and it was one of the highest rated shows in the history of television when you were married.
Oh,
on
yes.
Rhoda.
Yeah, the Rhoda show.
Does that give you a feeling of that kind of identity where people look at you for a long time and say Rhoda as opposed to Valerie Harper?
Yes.
I'm sure that happens. But people,
It does.
aren't
It
you,
has, sure.
That's Rhoda, and you go, my name
And I say
probably-
Valerie, yeah,
Valerie,
sure,
yeah.
sure.
Did that frighten you at all upon leaving that and wondering whether you'd have the same acceptance in another role?
Sure, it gave me pause. I certainly thought about it. I've been asked it before, and it's not been a problem. I must say that even though I played the character for 9 years, yeah, it was that long. It was
Wow.
4 on Mary and 5 years on my own. It seemed to have been nothing but helpful to me. It created a career. It did make me famous, known, and I did other things on hiatuses during the years that I was on Rhoda. But it was 78 was the last filming we did, although there are reruns all the time, so I'm in the
Sure.
public's consciousness. But then they've seen me in the 8 to 10 films I've done,
Yeah.
features and the other. I've done a lot of TV movies over the years, and this year I did 3, 1 for each network, which was wonderful. In this
That's
time
wonderful.
of no work, I'm very, very fortunate.
But you can pick your spots now.
Well, yes, but when good scripts, Mike, looking for the good thing
Sure.
to come along. So it hasn't really been, I
To do
don't
3,
think, a
excuse me, to
negative
do
thing.
3, like you just said, I did 1 for each network. How many scripts did you look at to finally accept those 3?
Oh, gee, maybe 12, maybe more. And then a lot of times there's conflicts, with timing.
Yeah.
You're doing something else.
You ever turn down a winner, like we do in the music business? Occasionally somebody comes to you with a song, you say, no, I don't think, and
not
boom,
really.
somebody else gets a hit
I
with it.
didn't turn it down, but I was sent the book early on just for my opinion of the book. It wasn't like an offer of Kramer versus Kramer. It came to me in hardcover, and the writer said, would you read this? And I was in the middle of, I don't know which year it was. I just didn't read it.
Oh, my.
But, I don't feel anything
Let me see
about
the scars
that.
on your wrist.
No, I'll tell you, I
would
don't
do
think
the-
anyone could do it better than Merle,
Yeah, that's nice of you
Streep,
to say.
And I wasn't being offered it. I was just sent it, but I often,
What a
so
piece
that's,
of material.
that's not like being a script that I actually wanted and went out for. That hasn't really happened, which is nice.
Excuse me, we have to pause. We're coming right back with Valerie Harper right after this.